So with this wagon, we do drag and drive events, and you have to drive your car down the highway. But this is the rear tire. So it's a 33/17 wide, and it's on a 16-inch rim, a bead lock, and the rim is 16 wide. But to put street tires on this with that much offset, if I put a skinny little wheel on there, it's going to look pretty silly. It's going to look like somebody hits the gym and skips leg day. So Speedway, for whatever reason, I'm not sure their application, but they offer a steel wheel that I think is going to get us close. So it's this Aero Racing steel wheel. I'm sure it's for circle track or dirt track or some situation, but it is 12 wide with only a 2-inch backspace, so it gives me a really deep front here again. They don't just bolt on. They are the right bolt pattern. This is 5-on-5, and they do clear my 5/8 drive studs, but the bore in the center of the wheel is not large enough. So I'll show you how we fix that here in a minute. But this is how they look on here. It's kind of crazy when you look straight in from the back, but that's what the wheel bolted on to the hub face. And the rotor and the caliper and everything is sticking out the back. But that's going to get us fairly close. That tire lines up with the rocker pretty good. So I'm not going to complain about a 2-inch offset there, but yeah, so this is the project we're working on today, is to get this pair of wheels to fit this car to go down the highway with. They're going to be 33 12/5 15s, so they're going to be truck tires. I'll have to get something that doesn't have too aggressive of a, I don't need a mud and snow or a super swamper, but I'll see what I can find for highway tread at a 33 12/5. So I got these new wheels for my car, and it's kind of a custom situation where it needs a really wide wheel. So this is a 12 wide wheel with almost no backspace. Speedway had these ones. I'm sure they're for dirt track or oval track or something, but it's a 12 wide wheel with a 2-inch backspace. The bolt pattern is correct, 5-on-5. It does have 5/8 studs, but the center bore is not big enough to go over the hub. The car I'm putting them in has 40 spline full floater axle. It's like a not quite 3.5-inch hub, and this hole is not big enough to go over that axle. So we're going to put it on the lathe and bore out this center hole and make it so it fits. I'll try and watch along on this one here and see if I can catch comments if there is any that come in. But yeah, so that's what we're going to try and do, is we're going to, well, I did it on the other wheel. I know it works. It's just, I'm going to show you guys how I did it on this process on this side. So first we have to set up our roll out, or the run out, make sure that the wheel is spinning true, so that when we cut the circle in the middle, it's truly in the center. For that, I got this dial gauge, run it on the edge of the rim. On the other one, I was able to true it up on the edge of the rim, and it did a good job. So that's what we're going to try again here. So we're nowhere close to being straight right now. This is kind of one of those situations where just because you can doesn't mean you should. But it worked on the other one, so we're going to try it here again. Well, that's better than the other one. So what this dial shows here, I got it set at near 0 at the bottom. Then as I turn it around, there's one little spot that I lose 5 thou, and then as it goes up, there's, well, I guess it flares to about 20. But we're working with a painted steel wheel. I don't know how consistent their paint is. The majority of the wheels within 10 thousandths going around. And for what I'm doing, that's going to be plenty good. So now we can take that dial off. And we'll set up our boring bar. So this tool here is what will reach into the center of that wheel and open up that center hole. I don't have 3-phase power, so I have to run a rotary phase to run this big lathe. I'm just going to find the 0 mark of the center here. So right there, it's scraping the paint off. So we'll call that 0. Put it in gear. So the other one was 310 was the true number. What we need to get to is 345. After all the math, we need to cut out 180. Actually 175 is what I'm going to cut out. So we'll start at 0 on this number, and then we'll do a negative number. We'll cut it out to 175. I'm going to cut it 50 at a time. So I'm going to turn this to 50 thousandths. And then we'll get the cutter close. And then we'll take another 50 thousandths. So we're going to go to 100. And we'll get it close. We kick it into gear so it drives itself in there. We'll go to 150. Then we need one more cut of 25, so 175. Then to take that edge off, I have to switch tools. This isn't a very precise way to do it, but this is what I've got available. So 2645. Come on. And then I have to measure it with my other calipers because these ones measure inside, but they don't measure true zero. We want 345.46 here. So it's a little undersized. 342. So we need another 4th thou. But on a lathe, you only cut one side, but you're actually cutting it off of both as it comes around. So if we want 4th thou, we only take 2.
That whole circle thing.
Yeah. Cutting one side of the circle, spinning takes it off of both sides.
Yep.
So, boring bar.
So math can be good, boys and girls.
So we are 175. We need 2,000, so it's 177. So I measured again here. This number still doesn't really mean anything. So
Yeah, because you're measuring the measurement.
yeah, it's really just a tool to get this distance.
Oh, look at that.
Right on 345. That might be, I mean, that's what it is. I don't want to fight them on. So we're going to go another 2. Just because. They're going to have giant 33 12.5 truck tires on them too. So if they're a little off center, I don't think it's really going to matter. I don't think 3 or 4 thou is going to change anything. So we were 177. I'm just going to go 180. The strings went inside the wheel and they're
It's making a god awful noise.
being naughty.
Sounds worse than it is.
that's it for that. And we'll take it off. We'll try it on. I did put Gorilla Tape, 2 layers on here to protect the finish.
Oh, two layers?
I didn't scratch it too bad, I hope.
Yeah?
Not that it's going to matter going on this car. I tried.
Yeah. So we're on the machine shop side right now, so we'll walk this over to where the car is in the car shop and see how it looks.
Yeah, shut this.
We're actually in Colorado. Weather's not too bad today.
Kind of hard to see it here. Yep, that's good. So before the situation was that this was too big to go through the wheel. The center hole here was not big enough to go around the axle.
Ta-da.
I thought I did a little extra. It's still pretty tight. But it was kind of tough to find a wheel that was wide with the very small backspace, just because of the rear end situation in this car. It takes a really crazy wheel. So when it mounted on there and the wheel all the way tight to the axle face, you can still see the brake rotor and the calipers stick out the wheel. That's with it truly mounted against the housing. It's still going to be tucked in there a little ways, but to try and find a street tire and a wheel that's going to work on this thing, already this is a pretty crazy setup. We're going to put a 33 12.5 15 on here, so it's going to be a truck tire. I'll have to find something that's close to street tread. I don't want a giant mud lug or a super swamper type tire to drive in this car headed down the highway. So I'm sure I can find something with a all-terrain or fairly mild tread pattern. So this car was a 6.0 Pro Mod. It had a 41 Willys body on it, a fiberglass body.
Right here.
Yeah, it's over there hanging in the rafters. But anyway, we strapped this steel roof and quarters station wagon body on it. We did a lot of measuring to make sure it was going to fit. It fits over the cage. It bothers a lot of people that the cage doesn't truly fit the body. But, I mean, it hangs down from the roof quite a ways. If this cage was built for this body, it wouldn't look like that. But what are you going to do with a 20-year-old Pro Mod? So, and we're swapping to a 300, a Ford 300 inline 6. And then we're going to use this 80mm turbo, and we're shooting to make 850 horsepower out of it for drag and drive stuff, with a possibility of a max effort to be around 1,000 horsepower. Yesterday the project was to get the alternator mounted, so found a short belt, got the alternator. This alternator's off of a 2005 Mustang, so it's a 3G, one wire basically, 130 amp alternator, and then just runs on that serpentine belt. But for what we do, we want parts to be available. I don't want to have to carry an extra alternator if I don't have to, but to find an alternator for a 95 Mustang is pretty easy. Between O'Reilly's is where we go most of the time, but I mean, with the other choices out there, you can probably find something somewhere. And then it's going to run on methanol. So this is the fuel pump. Worked out to make this one bracket here with the alternator adjustment. And then it also gave me my fuel pump adjustment. Got all my belts in line off of that balancer. We'll be changing the pulley for the fuel pump drive to overdrive it a little faster, just because this engine's not going to spin as fast as that pump usually does.